So we've seen how ViewState is used as a secondary repository for controls that don't have their state intrinsically sent back as part of the post request. It's often useful to really go inspect the ViewState and take a look at what's inside of there if you're having troubles or if you're trying to figure out why it's so large or for some other reason. And there are a couple ways to do this. First of all, it is simply a base64 encoded string. So at the very least, you could grab any base64 encoder or decoder you have around and drop the ViewState string into that decoding, and it'll print out the string with the embedded links and such in it. It turns out though, if you look a little more closely at the ViewState contents, it is actually a representation, a serialized representation of a tuple-based data structure. So it's a collection of doubles and triples and quads that sort of create this hierarchical collection of data into which all of these controls are placing their state. Now, if you're interested in decoding this in a bit more structural detail, I've built a ViewState decoder, is what I've called it, and you can download it from this URL right here. If you go to tinyurl.com/4dn377. And that will get you the ViewState decoder, and you can just open it up and paste ViewState into it or point it to a website and start taking a look at it. So let me just show you an example of using that. I'm going to go back to the website we were working on before and go ahead and run the state page. Or actually, let's run the bigger page, the one that had the bulleted list on it and the label and the text box and the button and all those other pieces. And if we run this page, I'm just going to copy the URL and then bring up the ViewState decoder. And there are two ways to use this utility. You can either paste the URL directly into this field here and hit the Extract ViewState button, which will reach into the requested page and pull out the value of the hidden ViewState field, at which point you can hit the decode option. And what I do for decoding is show you all the ViewState in its hierarchical relationships using a tree view, and that you can drill in and see the values of the inner HTML property for this particular element, for example, and sort of trace through. Or you could look at the raw text decoding, where it just uses hidden characters for the delineation characters, and I print those using the standard escape syntax. Or I also create my own XML format. So the ViewState is not stored in XML, let me be clear about that, but I have found it convenient in the past to actually just have an XML rendering of it, so it's easier to look at and potentially manipulate if I want to do so somehow. And you can sort of get a good idea of the structure of the ViewState by looking at this XML rendering. Now, the other way to use this is suppose we wanted to see what this page looked like, what the ViewState looked like after we had performed an addition down here. To do that, we could go and view the source of the page. And once you had the source, just go track down the ViewState field, which you can see right here. There's the hidden input field that contains the ViewState. And I'm just going to go select everything within the quotes of that ViewState input element and go here and paste the value in, and then hit the decode option directly. So instead of having it extract the value itself, I will paste it in ourselves. And inside of here, you'll notice that we have all the values. Let's go to the XML actually. All the values that were saved during that post back, and they are set properly as well. Okay, so you might find that useful to inspect the contents of ViewState on your pages and get a sense for what's in there and how things are being stored.